Now let's talk about the thematic map. The thematic maps are also known as distribution maps. Now these distribution maps, where they are important is the first question. Wherever a simple line graph, bar graph, pie graph fails to explain the detailed characteristics over a given space, we use a distribution map or a thematic map, and it gives a much more clearer picture for any concept. So let's say the first map, this shows the literacy rate in India. Now simply by visualizing this map, I can say the state of Kerala has a very high literacy rate. Now why? Because the color is very dark here and it shows above 83, and it gives me a clear picture that this is a state with very high literacy. Now on the other hand, I have the states where we have literacy rate of less than 56. So Bihar, Jharkhand are a classic example. There are of course other states with each of those, but just to cite an example. But this graphical representation, if had been there either through table or through line or bar graph, it won't have been so impressive as when it is represented over the region itself. So what are the requirements first of all for drawing a thematic or a distribution map? The first is you need to have a map of the region that is there. That is the outline or the basic map that is required. It could be in the form of a physical map, it could be in the form of a political map based on the requirement that is there. So this is an example of a political map that we have taken. Now what is the rule for drawing a thematic map? The first rule is we draw the thematic map which should be a well planned map, and for a well planned map what we need is the area that should be cited properly, the name, the legend that should exist, the title that should be given, that India literacy rate is the title, north should be marked properly, then you should have a legend, you should have a scale for the map, and then a suitable method, whether it should be a method of shading, whether it should be a method of putting dots, or whether it should be a method of representing through lines. So all these methods are known by different map names. So this is a dot method. This is a method which is known as isopleth. We would understand all of these in a while. And the method where we are shading is known as choropleth. So there could be various ways for selecting a thematic map. Now thematic map can also be explained as a qualitative map versus a quantitative map. So these are an example of a qualitative map. Under a quantitative map, when we do, let's say, a rainfall depiction of less than 500, less than 50 centimeters, 50 to 100 centimeters, 100 to 200 centimeters, that is a quantitative map because we are going through the quantities. However, when we are talking about qualities, we go through either a dot map, a choropleth or a isopleth map, which are the most commonly used. So let's understand these one by one. So the first one that we would understand is a dot map. We have the total population of India. Now, we have the population that is divided for each of the state as per the census. Now, what we do is we explain the region by dot map. Dot map is classically used to show the distribution of population. So when I am showing the distribution of population, it could be population, it could be animals, it could be crops or anything. What I need to do is I need to go through the values roughly. Once I go through the values, I understand which of the values are very, very high. For example, Uttar Pradesh is significantly higher as compared to Sikkim. But Sikkim, which is the lowest value, is again in lakhs. So what I do is I divide each of these values by, let's say, 1 lakh. And what I do is I get a value of around 5.4, which equals to nearly 5 dots. Here I get a value of 1660, which represents so many dots in the region of Uttar Pradesh. So what I do is on the map of India, in the region of Sikkim, I would simply mark the 5 dots that are seen. But in the region of Uttar Pradesh, I would mark 1660 dots. Definitely a cumbersome process, but there are few rules again. All the dots should be of same size. The thickness of the dot should not vary. The consistency should remain same, and by visualizing we would be able to understand which of the regions has lesser population in contrast to other regions which have higher population that is there. So that is a basic dot map that is explained. So what we do is we go through, I repeat, the population values and we see the lowest and the highest value. Then from the lowest value we can find a number which we divide and find out a good number which could be represented as a dot. So if it is 5 lakh something, I divide it by 1 lakh, I get 5 dots, and that is good to represent. And then we find out the dots for each of the state and mark those dots on the map of India. The next is the choropleth. The choropleth maps are usually represented to show either population, literacy data, growth rate, age-sex graphs, or sex ratio that can be seen on a graph, usually from the data that we obtain from population census, are some of the good data that could be explained by choropleth map. So let's say we have the literacy rate that is given for each of the territories and each of the states that is given here. What we again do is we quickly go through the values and we see a Kerala with a value of 90. On the other hand, we find out the lowest value which is in Bihar, 47. I believe that's the lowest value which we have. 47 again, that's Bihar here. Okay, so we have the original values here and we do it on a ascending order. So that's a good way of doing it. So what we do is first we have the values for all the states. If you are using Excel, it is very easy. You can simply sort by A to Z and you would have the literacy rate from in the ascending or the descending order. So we have arranged it in the ascending order. So we have Bihar with the lowest literacy, Kerala with the highest literacy. We take a difference of 90 minus 47. So that is around 45. So 43 is the difference that comes here. Now what happens is I divide this 43 into categories. I want to explain it into how many categories? I want to explain it into 5 different categories. So I divide this value by 5. I take a rough value of each group would be in a set of 9. So my first value would be ranging from 47 to 56. The next value would be 56 to 65 and so on and so forth, as you can see in the values here. And above 83 would be a common group. I leave it open. Above 83 it could go up to more than 90. So Kerala, Mizoram would fall into this category. So I would shade them with the darkest color and remaining I would shade with a lighter shade. And if there are shades that are mixing, then you can simply do it in a line fashion, or you can change the pattern under which you are doing the lowest values. Now what is the benefit? The benefit is, first of all, by assigning the shades or the colors, you are making it sure that through visual impact, the concept is well understood. What is the rule for doing a choropleth map? When you have the concept of understanding the states that are there. So under this we have Jammu Kashmir to all the states that are represented here. We arrange them in the ascending order. We take the difference of the highest value minus the lowest value, and that highest value minus the lowest value would give me the range. Now with this range I divide it into feasible numbers. So let's say I want to represent all the literacy in sets of 5. So I represent or group that data into set of 5, and then based on all the states that are falling into one group, I would represent them into a single section. So all these values would be represented as a single section. So my first slot would be Bihar, Jharkhand, Arunachal Pradesh and Jammu Kashmir, that would be explained in one group. Mizoram and Kerala would be explained in another group, that is above 83, and this is below 56. So that is how we divide whole of the data into groups and then we shade the different areas in a choropleth map. The next is the isopleths. Now isopleths are interesting. Isopleths join data with equal values. So iso means equal, pleth means lines. So I am trying to join lines of equal values. What are the common lines that we join? We have isotherms which join the line of same temperature. We have isobar as we can learn it as bhar. So it talks about pressure, lines of equal pressure that are joined. Iso heights join the lines of equal rainfall that are there. Iso nef is the lines of equal cloudiness, how much cloudiness is there can be explained. Iso hills explain the lines of equal sunshine, the sunlight amount that is coming in. And then we also have contours, as we have understood in our various lectures, which are lines of equal height. So all these are examples of isopleth. So what we do is, under isopleth, let's say in the first diagram we have the various values that are given. Now when we have the various values that are given, what we do is, let's say I want to draw a line of 70. So what I do is, I take the values of 67 and 77. So 70 would be somewhere in between that. But what I need to do is, I need to understand it would be 3 centimeters from here and 7 centimeters from here. Or let's say if the difference between 67 and 77, the 2 points are differing by 1 centimeter. What I do is, I take a line of 3 millimeters from here and 7 millimeters from here, and that point would be my point of 70, because I don't know the exact point of 70. So what I need to do is, I need to interpolate from 56 to 77. I'll interpolate a point of 70. Similarly, 56 to 78, I'll interpolate another point. 56 to 74, I'll interpolate another point, and then 64 to 75, I'll interpolate another point. Once I interpolate all these points, I would join this as a line of 70. Now this is how we join the lines for the various values, and you can see the lines for 29, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and so on are joined. Now again, here the rule remains the same. We draw this isopleth of the minimum value first, and then we move towards the maximum value, and that is a good way of representation of the values. Now here, if you look closely, what is important, you have 75 and again 68 and here again 64. That means there would be a line of 70 and a line of 70 again. So let's say if it is talking about height, it would appear as hill going up, and then it was the height is again coming down. So this region would be a kind of highland area. That would be this region, which would be a little more in height, and then the height would get less in this region, but here it would keep on increasing. So there has to be a difference that has to be explained, and this shows a pattern which is similar to this, but here the shades change because the height keep on increasing as we move downwards. So that is how we explain a isopleth map. To summarize again, dot map, choropleth map, isopleth maps are all examples of thematic maps. They are used to explain distribution. Isopleth can be used to explain distribution of equal temperature, equal height, equal rainfall, equal cloudiness, equal sunshine, as we have understood the various names for isopleth. So this was about this. We would be bringing in many more interesting lectures for you. Stay tuned for many more updates from our side. Have a wonderful day ahead.